Hello and welcome to a new Doctor Who book review, and today I'm going to be doing a Doctor Who book review on an 8th Doctor novel, and this is, I think it's pretty controversial among some fans, because there are some fans, it's a bit of a Marmite novelisation. There are some fans that really like it, and there are some fans which, completely despise it and just don't want anything to do with it, and I'm going to give my thoughts on this story today. And so before we get into my thoughts, let's take a look at the presentation of the book. So as you can see, I quite like the cover design. It's written by John Peel, who's a really good author, I think, but sometimes he can be a bit heavy on continuity. But yeah, anyway, I really like the design. I quite like the blue effect of the cover. So we've got Doctor Who, War of the Daleks, written by John Peel. BBC Books, and the spine, it's also quite nice, just a shade of blue. And then here we've got the synopsis, a picture of the front cover, and it just tells you a bit about the fact that it's the first original Dalek novel to be published since the TV show. So yeah, let's I'll just read you the description of the novel. The Doctor is repairing the TARDIS systems once again when it is swept up by a garbage ship roving through the space, the Quetzal, as it's called. When another ship approaches and takes the Quetzal by force, the Doctor discovers that he and Sam are not the only unwitting travellers aboard. There is a strangely unfamiliar survival pod in the hold. Delaney, the captain of the second ship, orders the pod to be opened, but the Doctor is powerless to intervene as Davros is awakened once again. But this is no out-and-out rescue of Davros. Delaney and his crew are Thals, the sworn enemies of the Daleks. They intend to use Davros as a means to wipe out the Daleks, finally ridding the universe of the most aggressive, deadly race ever to exist. But the Doctor is still worried, for there is a signal beacon inside the pod, and even now a Dalek ship is closing in. So yeah, the bottom bit says, this book, the first original Dalek story to be published since the TV show stopped transmission, is another in the series of adventures featuring the 8th Doctor and Sam. Now, for those who don't know much about Sam, she's one of the companions who isn't very popular amongst sort of the fan base, because apparently a lot of the writers tried to kill her off because they didn't really like her that much. Because there were later companions such as Angie and Fitz, who were, I'm not sure whenabouts they came into novelisations, but yeah, so anyway, my thoughts on the story. This is quite a bit of a complex Dalek story. The first half is a really sort of nice, sort of based on deceived stories, and I'm a really big fan of those. But however, that does sort of drag in some parts, but yeah, Sam gets quite a bit to do in this, and the Doctor's pretty good as well, and the Thals they're pretty good, and I think overall the book is quite slow in parts, but if you can get past that, you can get like a pretty decent Dalek story. John Peel also wrote the second and last Dalek 8th Doctor novel called Legacy of the Daleks, which I do have, but I haven't read that one yet, because this is one of the very few 8th Doctor novels that I've actually read. I've read a couple of the others, but those were pretty awful, to be honest. Written by Paul Margs, and if you know me, I'm not a big fan of Paul Margs' writing at all. One was written by Jim Mortimore, which was called Bell Tempest, and that was really bad. I'm glad it was short as it was, because I honestly didn't want to read much more of that. But yeah, the Daleks in this, they're really cunning, and when they are in the book, I don't want to really spoil anything, but yeah, it's a really, really good Dalek story, I think, and Davros, he's really cunning and sometimes quite manipulative in this as well, and it sort of reminds me of the Power of the Daleks when Lesterson trying to open the pod, but in this case it's inside the pod, it's not Daleks, it's Davros this time, and it sort of tried to retcon a lot of the stuff that happened in the TV show, and I think that's why a lot of the fans are sort of against this novel, because of the fact it tried to do that. Personally, I don't mind it, because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fairly solid story, and like I said, there are a lot of people that don't like this novel, mainly because of the continuity and how heavy-handed John Peel, wrote it. But yeah, I think the ending was really satisfying. It didn't really, because like I said, I haven't read many of the Eighth Doctor novelisations, but from the ones that I have read, this is by far the best one. And I know there are a lot of good ones out there, like Seeing Eye, Vampire Science, and they are the ones that I actually have. It's just I need to get around to actually reading them at some point, because I've heard they are meant to be real crackers. So yeah, I think I'll probably give this story maybe 6 out of 10. I mean, like I said, it's not the best. Well, it's not the best Dalek story I've ever written, and it's very controversial amongst fans, like I said before. So yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 is a fairly suitable rating for me. But I looked on Goodreads earlier, and yeah, it's not very well received. It's fairly average, and just below average. But yeah, so that's my review of War of the Daleks. So yeah, I mean, I'd say give it a try. See if you'd like it, or you might not like it. I don't know, because I don't know many people who actually read this, because it did came out quite a while ago. So yeah, thank you very much for watching my review, and my next Doctor Who book review will be of the Monster Collection version of Shakedown, which I won't say anything about it now until my review. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.